Good evening, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope as well. And tonight we're a little late for our football 2020 review of week three. We're a little late. However, we're late because it was some action packed football this week. Glad we could come to you on those various stations as well as uh, the podcast as well. I wanted to promote that as well. The broadcast always on a podcast form as well as being on YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook. Week three, fellas, and we had some real interesting games down to the wire. The games at 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock. What's up, Wayne? What's up, Craig?
What's up? What's up? How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm all right. How you guys feel about that? Week three of the NFL action pack.
Yeah.
The fan in me feels terrible. The fan in me feels terrible. But it was very exciting. It was a very exciting week. A lot of exciting games. A lot of injuries again. A lot of turnovers. A lot of bad coaching decisions. A lot of amazing performances. You know, it's the NFL, man.
And a lot of injuries once again. A lot of key players getting hurt again.
And this just in, the NFC East still stinks.
Still stinks. So we're gonna start it off, Dwayne, with the NFC East. Okay, we can run through the 1 o'clock games real quick that they played, and then that fiasco we saw at 4:25. All the three of us. The Washington Redskins.
They're not the Redskins. I'm gonna tell you this for the third week in a row.
I'm sorry. I did a Chris Mortensen. Chris Mortensen did the same thing today, and I was shocked. But
the Washington
football team. They lost their stout defensive end outside linebacker today. They said to an ankle or a groin injury. But the Browns, they played the Browns, and the Browns beat them.
They performed pretty well against the Browns. Like, they were in the game, but as with any young quarterback, you know, Dwayne Haskins threw 3 interceptions today. Three bad interceptions. Mm-hmm. And when I was watching this game, he also missed a wide open receiver in the corner of the end zone. So he's still young, even though his second year. He's gonna have some up and down.
And they are tied for first place right now.
And they're still tied for first place.
Yeah. Craig, what you think about the Redskins? How they you see they got some players on their roster.
Right. But I think like Dwayne said, the turnovers killed them. Like, you up 2017, you can't turn the ball over and give the other team the ball in your territory, and that's what killed them today. Because they actually came back in the third quarter and took the lead. So I mean, like, again, when the Browns went down and scored, you turn the ball over, they score again. You turn the ball over, they score again. You can't win games like that. But you have to deal with the growing pains with Haskins. So I mean, but their defense, they played rather well today. So, you know, on the road, you figure, you know, your Browns, they have a good running game. They got 2 good wide receivers. So, you know, when you turn the ball over in their territory, you're not going to win many games like that. But but I will say this: they have good young defensive talent. That they do have. They do.
They one of their D tackles got hurt today and didn't return. Right. And then Chase Young got hurt, so we'll see what it look like going forward. This is the year of the injuries, man. There's injuries all over the place, man, in the NFL right now.
We're gonna just skip right along because we like I said, we kind of late. But let's talk about that team. Let's talk about the team that plays at MetLife. The New York Football Giants.
Well, you know, the Giants. It's been a rough go, man. Since that last Super Bowl in 2011, it's been a tough go for the Giants. I mean, you know, this is not Giant hate. You know, I like to be unbiased, but when your organization is paying 3 head coaches this year, they're playing McAdoo, they're paying Shermer, and now they're playing Joe Judge. So they're 0-3. Their offensive line is a mess. Gettleman still hasn't fixed that. They don't have Saquon. They didn't have Shepard. Shepard, we got to say it right now. He spends more time off the field than he does on. He's always injured. Daniel Jones is all right, you know, but he's running for his life a lot. I think Evan Ingrams is the most overrated tight end in the league. You know, everybody talks about how great he is, but I just don't see it week in, week out. And it's tough, man. They 0-3 again. And I feel bad for the Giant fans because a lot of years it seemed like the season is over and you don't get out the month of September.
Brother Walker, what you think? Like, what's going on with the New York Football Giants?
They have a new coach, new system, but they don't have right now. They just searching. They have to get talent on both sides of the ball right now. You lost to a 49ers team that had fourth string everybody out there,
Fourth string,
36 to
third, fourth
9.
string. Yeah.
So it is not like you said. It's just what your eyes see. This is a year that they have to rebuild. Basically, they have to rebuild. They have to go through a rebuilding process with that team, build it back up on both lines of scrimmage. Because if you don't win the line of scrimmage, you're not winning the game.
But let me ask you a question, and I agree with you that they got to rebuild. But do they, as an organization, to have the patience to rebuild? They didn't allow McAdoo to do it. They didn't allow Sherman to do it. And now you got Joe Judge. Is you going to allow him to do it?
I think when you look at their today's game, and you look at from a coaching standpoint, when you have a good coach, regardless of the players, you have a structure. And you see that the 49ers, as you guys said, played with all these backups, and they had a structure. The 49ers aren't known for having a high-powered offense, but the 49ers did not punt not one time during the game. And to say that for the Giants, without any Giants bias and all that hate or whatever, the Giants just don't have no players. I mean, then you're going to be hooked up with a great running back next year coming back from ACL who might be like, look, I want my money now.
Let me ask you guys a question.
Mm-hmm.
We've been watching football since we was kids.
Mm-hmm.
We've been in the New York area our whole lives.
Right.
What is the New York Giants known for?
Defense. Run the football.
Defense. Who is the star defensive player on the New York Giants?
They don't have one.
They don't have one.
On any level. On their front.
They just, it's.
I mean, I love Jabril Peppers. I do. I love Jabril Peppers. But if you look at it, Leonard Williams is they shouldn't pay him. Let him go at the end of this year. Who are their linebackers? Blake Martinez. I think he one of the leading tacklers.
No, Dwayne. Actually, Leonard Williams was a free agent, and they paid him because they traded for him last year.
Yeah, but they franchised him, so they didn't give him a big deal.
Way too much money to be franchised. Giants. Honestly, I don't even know if Danny Dimes might be their future. They're going to be, like we said, looking even at next year's players coming out. They're going to be dead smack in the, do we draft another quarterback or we stick with the kid? And that's a tough decision for any organization that they need an overhaul of talent and structure.
But listen, with all that said, and them being 0-3, all four teams in the NFC East are terrible. All four. So they can still win the division. Believe it or not, Giant fans, y'all can still win the division.
You're only a game out.
You're only a game out.
Now on to that team that the last team in the NFC East that won the Super Bowl, the Philadelphia Eagles.
The Philadelphia.
And, we were on the phone today when it went down, and this is the first time, like I told you guys on the phone, that I witnessed. I don't know about you guys. The first time that I witnessed ever in the history of football, a head coach not allowing his franchise quarterback to make a play on 4th and 7, and he basically played for a tie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first time that I've ever seen that ever. Well,
the Eagles have in my opinion, they're a good team, right? But they have an identity crisis right now. You paid Carson Wentz a lot of money. Carson Wentz is supposed to be a big-time quarterback in this league. Everybody says it. Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz has 6 interceptions in 3 games. Okay? And you had a coach today that took the ball out of his hands in crunch time. And that's bad. You paid that man a lot of money. You got to roll with him. Good, bad, or indifference. You got to roll with Carson Wentz. And it's surprising to me at home that Doug Peterson played for a tie. The man played for a tie.
The most aggressive, probably out of Andy Reid, probably the most aggressive coach in the NFL.
Right. Goes for it on fourth downs all the time. And he literally played for a tie. Now, the Eagles are beat up. Got offensive line injuries. Jason Peter got hurt again today. Dallas Goedert went down in the first quarter. Besides Darius Slay, their secondary is a sieve. So they got problems defensively. The way it looks like in this NFL this year, you got to be able to score points and just basically slow defenses down. Because as you can see in game after game after game, the defenses are at a disadvantage. They're not letting the defenses play physical. They're not letting corners play physical with wide receivers down the field. They're calling all types of 5 yards, illegal contacts, a lot of interferences all over the league. So offense rules the day. It used to be defense wins championships. Not anymore. It's offense.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing I did get out of that game, Joe Burrow's a player. Like I told you, I didn't watch him in college like that. But Joe Burrow is a player, man. Like he's got it. And even his coach did some things today that he didn't play to win. He basically hung him out the drive.
Listen, I'll let Craig address that.
I'm gonna address the Bengals and from the overtime. You can't stop running the football. You have Joe Mixon and Giovanni Bernard. With a rookie quarterback, you can play action if you can, because you have you got two good running backs. You have two excellent, and you don't even try to give them the ball in overtime?
On the road.
On the road? You just put in your rookie quarterback, and he got blitzkrieged in overtime. They lucky to come out with a tie. That dude was getting hit every play. And you sit up there not trying to run the ball. And I understand this is the new age of football. If you don't run the ball, you're not going to win. It's just that simple. And look at the Eagles. They had a running back with 70 yards in the first half. He ended up with 95. He only rushed for 20 because they threw the ball. You got to stay balanced.
That's one of the things that I've always griped with the Eagles about is they do the RPO almost on every play, but it's like they very rarely give it to Sanders. And then when Sanders had a game like he played today, it's like they don't know how to suck the juice out of the clock. Like you down with Goddard, you got injuries all over the place. Your secondary, for some strange reason, the Bengals decided to go at Darius Slay like he was a bum, and Boyd actually was giving him business today. But still, in fact, like I just don't understand. Like Dwayne said, the Eagles are probably one of those teams right now that's, even though they do got that championship DNA still in their team, they don't have a direction of what they're trying to be. What type of team are they? And from most experts' opinions, you have the most talented quarterback in the division. You would think it would be a little bit easier than for to maintain some type of identity. So we got to talk about the most chokingest sports franchise we might have seen in the last 30 years. What is going on with the Atlanta Falcons, fellas?
It's COVID time. We're in a pandemic. People are struggling out here, and I hate to see somebody lose their job. But how Dan Quinn keeps his job is beyond me. Because, hey man, that's it. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, you this the second week in a row you gave up a double-digit lead. It's like, and you're home, and you let the Bears come back and beat you. They were dead. It was down 26-10.
You had a 29-10 lead last week against the Cowboys, and this week at one point you was up 26-10.
And you're home.
Yeah, I think it's definitely time. They haven't spent no resources since Julio Jones been there. All their resources you could clearly see have went to the offensive line. They got 5 first-round offensive linemen. They got all receivers for days. They could score, but they couldn't guard a daggone They couldn't guard nothing right about now. I don't even have a joke for them
It was,
available.
yeah,
But
it was bad. It was bad, man. You just can't lose like that 2 weeks in a row. You can't. Not in this league.
and we see that Foles has made an appearance for that Chicago team.
Yeah, it's done for Trubisky, which goes down as a terrible number 2 pick in the draft when you consider the quarterbacks that were drafted after him.
Excuse me. So how do we feel about those Patriots, man? Those Patriots put up 36 points today.
I mean, Cam Newton, man. Like, Cam Newton was the perfect guy to replace Tom Brady, man. You know?
Craig, how do you say it's just a well-oiled machine, Craig?
I just think Cam Newton fits with the parts that they have and what he does. He gets everybody involved, and with him running and throwing the ball,
Craig, talk about that running back they got up there that you love.
Oh, Sony Michel, yeah, he had 119 yards on 7 carries today. Yeah, but they need to give him the ball more too to take some pressure off of Cam running all the time. But Belichick does what he wants to do. He's going to always play with 2 or 3 running backs in the game. But Sony Michel, I mean, he can catch the ball out the backfield. He can run.
One of your teams, Craig, that we had when we did our preview show of the season, your preview underdog, they won under some controversy today, but they looked like they couldn't. They was about to get come back on. Talk about Buffalo and the Los Angeles Rams.
Well, yeah, the Rams made a nice comeback after they was down 28-3, as a matter of fact, to the Buffalo Bills. But one thing I am seeing is Josh Allen is throwing the ball this year because he got a good receiver. He got Diggs. And the running back did well today. Who was it, Singletary? I think he ran for over 100 yards. But, like Dwayne said, in this league, with the way defenses are, you can't do nothing. Like, it's like 7-on-7 football out here. If you see these scores to these games, 35-32, 38-31, 26-20, 36-7, these are some high scoring games. And I think the first 4 or 5 games are just going to be like preseason games. The true season is going to start like game 5, game 6.
Yeah, for a lot of teams, you just got to not dig yourself in a hole. And one of the teams that Dwayne, we just gonna move right along. One of the teams that we always criticize, but we like the coach that have dug themselves in the 0-3 hole is them Vikings, man. What is going on up there?
You pay Kirk Cousins a lot of money, and Kirk Cousins is who we thought he was. You're not gonna win big with Kirk Cousins at quarterback.
So last year he had a pretty decent year with Diggs. So is it just that Diggs and Thielen is not used to being that guy?
Thielen got to be the man, and he's seeing double coverage, and they got a rookie on the other side that they're trying to step up. Now he scored a touchdown today, but we know with rookie wide receivers, that's a position that's all up and down.
Yeah, one of the things that I noticed, not to talk about the Vikings losing to the Tennessee Titans, man. I think if you asked most people, they wouldn't understand that the Titans have made it to the playoffs 4 years in a row. Vrabel came in there. They took his personality of that hard-nosed Ohio State stuff that he bought. And it's just like, I don't know what it is. I saw a couple plays of that game, and Simmons and Clowney, and when they get Vic Beasley together, their defensive line is scary because you can't stick none of them one-on-one. And I just think that Tennessee has that they have that toughness. They're gonna play defense. And as much as scoring goes on in the NFL and we see all these high prolific offenses, the Tennessee Titans is gonna do one thing. They're gonna play defense and they're gonna run that football.
That's it.
And you notice that Corey is having a breakout season so far, Dwayne. I know you had told me earlier you'd like to see that how he's going to play this year because this is a big year for him because came in last year and had a big year. But I really like the way the Titans is looking. The Titans look like one of them teams that's they're not Kansas City, they're not Baltimore. They're just going to keep going out there day in and day out.
Here's the thing about the Titans that's different than the team that the three of us root for. They don't beat themselves. They don't beat themselves with stupid penalties. they don't beat themselves with not being lined up in the right places on defense. But we'll get into that later. I'm sorry. That's something for later.
Definitely. We're gonna talk about that.
I will say this. A team that really impressed me today, moving to 3-0, was the Buffalo Bills. Because the Rams came back and the Bills they took the shots and they kept going and they won a real tough game at home and they showed something. They showed something, man. 3-0. The Rams been good those first 2 weeks. That was a big win for Buffalo today.
I see that, Dwayne. I see your coach got his first win today down there in Carolina. He got his first win today of the year. You know, I know you're a Matt Rule guy.
I'm a big Matt Rule guy. Rule guy.
No, he knows how to build a program down there. You know, the Chargers, for all the talent the Chargers got, you know, I don't know what's Anthony Lynn's issue. But I know they lost a lot of players to injury, but the Chargers, just for some reason, they seem to not. They're well coached, I believe, by Anthony Lynn, but they just cannot get no wins under their belt.
Yeah, nah.
So, Craig, those Colts, man, those Colts they played against. I know before we blinked, we was all three watching the Cowboy game. Before we blinked, they had a pick six on Sam Darnold. Before, as they say, before you was able to get a cup of water and sit down.
The Colts might as well have played play a high school team because the Jets are awful. They're just terrible, man. They don't have an identity. You got Gauze, he needs to be gone. I mean, they don't. It's terrible.
Adam Gase should not be recycled as a coach anymore.
No.
His team don't like him. They don't respect him. They complain about his practice. They complain about what he does in the game. He's a lame duck. You know, the Jets should just fire him now, man. Fire him now.
The Jets are good for a nap. That's what the Jets are good for. A good old nap.
The Jets as an organization is going to have a very tough decision to make. If they get the number one pick and you got Trevor Lawrence there, do you trade Sam Darnold and draft Trevor Lawrence? But if you bring in Trevor Lawrence in, maybe you bring in Dabo Swinney as well and see if he want to coach in the NFL. Because Adam Gase is not the answer right now.
I agree. If you gotta, you know, the Jets and Giants, unfortunately for the people that root for the two New York teams, the Jets and Giants, they just don't have no talent. They just gotta gut their franchises now. The Jets, when they gave up Jamal Adams, I mean, they got some stuff for him, but at the end of the day, you get some draft capital for some of these players. Even L. Bell, at the end of the day, he's on Twitter talking about he don't got a hamstring injury and they're not playing this guy. Like, at a certain point, you know, you got to change that culture. The culture of they don't like that coach.
But that's Gage's fault. He made it toxic with Bell. And then in the draft, I understand you got Becton, but you needed some outside help. And you score how many points today? 7.
They scored 7. They scored 7, gave up 36. The Giants scored 9 and gave
9. They gave up 36 to a 49ers team.
But it's amazing. It's amazing as much as we, you know, talk about football, and guys always say, well, this quarterback has this coming out. He has all the tangibles. At the end of the day, as good as a quarterback is, and as good as he can learn, if he don't go to the right organization and if they have the right culture around him, you could have the quarterback. You could have a 5-star quarterback come out. He's not going to look right if that culture's not right.
Look, you have to have. I don't care who you are. Everybody talk about this. If you don't have a good offense, first of all, you need a good line of scrimmage. Let's start with that. If you ain't got good line of scrimmage play, you're not winning the game. I don't care how good your quarterback is. If you don't have a good coaching staff, a good scheme to fit your players, you're not winning. It's just that simple. I don't care. You could throw for 20,000 yards. But when it comes to a game when you have a team that's good on offense, defense, and special teams, you're not beating that team. They're not going to beat you. And a good coaching staff, you're not winning.
We're going to talk about two teams that's building good coaches. One of them, unfortunately, had to lose today. Is that Arizona-Detroit game? I really like the culture that Kingsbury, even though Arizona lost,
Yeah,
I really like the culture that Kingsbury, huh?
You missed the 1 o'clock game though before you jump to the 4 o'clocks.
No, we'll be back to it. Which one I miss?
You missed Texas Steelers.
Oh yeah, and it's funny because I actually watched that game too, more than anything. But we can talk about that one. We'll get to Arizona. Texas Steelers was interesting. I noticed that when I did watch some of the game, the Steelers they just find their groove, but it's like amazing that Tomlin is just winning. He just winning, man. He just winning. Another team under the radar.
You got Big Ben back, man.
Yeah.
Defense and smart offense can still win. That's what I'm saying. You got to be able to play defense, though. You know, with their defense and with Big Ben, they're going to be in every game, man.
Two of the things that I noticed that they did is drafting McFarland and drafting Claypool.
Right.
Man, it's really opening up the offense for Juju, and it's allowing Juju to see a lot of coverages that he don't usually see, being the main guy. You know, McFarland. Right. I noticed in the beginning of the game they had McFarland, and then they gave it to Connor at the end because Connor may not be the fastest guy, but he makes a lot of smart plays as a running back. He's very, very patient in the hole, and
he good. You know, and Snell is a good compliment to him.
Yeah, they have a
nice two-headed monster at running back.
And the Texans.
Bill O'Brien. There it is, Craig. You said it.
Bill O'Brien.
So you paid Deshaun all his money. Was shout out to Deshaun for getting the money. He deserves it. You have no offensive line around him. David Johnson can't run the way he used to run. You had no business trading DeAndre Hopkins. No business. And you replace him with Randall Cobb. I like Randall Cobb. He's a nice piece. He's not number one.
Yeah, they just seem that organization. I don't know. Sometimes you be thinking coaches got secret tapes on these owners, but even the Texans don't even have an owner right now. They're being ran by a family trust. But they don't have a GM. They don't have a GM and
Bill O'Brien running the whole show.
And
so even put everything on him.
Even some of the hot GMs out there, they don't even want that job, which is interesting because you would think the Texans with all that capital, no state tax, a GM would be able to go down there and build a team. So we ain't really got to talk about that, man. The Steelers Mike Tomlin is all I can say, man. He don't get no credit, but he always have his teams prepared to play.
There's a reason since the late 60s, since the late 1960s, the Steelers have had 3 head coaches, man. That's how you do it with an organization, man. They're the best run organization in the NFL. Pittsburgh Steelers is the best run organization in the NFL from a consistency standpoint. Think about the Giants. And again, I don't mean to keep banging on the Giants, but you're paying 3 head coaches this year. The Steelers have had 3 head coaches since 1969.
Wow. And on to them Arizona Cardinals, man, in Detroit. I just like the culture that the Cardinals is building, man. They're competitive every game. They lost today, which is interesting because Detroit very rarely wins on the road. And even with Patricia, the first 2 years Patricia been coaching up there, the first 5-6 games they'd be competitive, and then they kind of like start teetering off. But you see that they're trying to build a culture, and
the Lions snapped an 11-game losing streak today. They lost their last 11 games. So that was a big win for them. Listen, man, we got to really start looking at this Bill Belichick coaching tree and seeing, is it really that good? Which one of his former assistants is really getting it done?
None of them.
And I will reiterate this again because people make this mistake all the time. Mike Vrabel did not coach under Bill Belichick.
He played,
did not coach under him.
So on to that fourth. No, we're going to talk about Buccaneers. The Buccaneers and the Broncos. The Broncos just don't have they're another team that's just void of talent right now.
They're on Jeff Driscoll. They got Jeff Driscoll at quarterback.
Losing Von Miller.
They lost their quarterback too.
Lost Drew Lock. They got Jeff Driscoll. They got Driscoll at quarterback.
And they lost Cortland Sutton too.
Injuries.
Yeah.
Injuries.
So the Buccaneers could just continue to develop chemistry. Tom and Mike Evans developing chemistry. Even though Gronk does not look Gronk look old. Gronk is probably 3 years way past his prime. So as the Buccaneers, hey, you know what they say? Play who's on your schedule and beat them
That's
as
it.
they
That's
continue to
it.
develop chemistry. Now to the America's game of the week, 425 game. You guys and my guys team, the Dallas Cowboys in Seattle. And I want to say that Russell Wilson, I just want to say that he threw 5 touchdowns today and he's a bad man.
Hey man,
He's a
listen.
bad man.
Future stepdaddy is cooking, man. Future stepdaddy. Future stepdaddy cooking, bro.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, what can you say about Russ, man? He was 27 to 40 for 5 touchdowns, man.
Yeah, he
315. He don't make mistakes. He protects the ball, and I think the janitor at Union High School was playing in the Seahawks secondary, but yet they
yeah.
still won.
Yeah, because they Russ right now is making the quarterback position look real easy from that pocket.
No,
he's running with purpose when he does run, and he throws the ball with touch. A lot of his
uh,
passes is accuracy. I mean, he's
played
just making it happen.
he played a great game, but with all that said, the Cowboys had a lead, and again, and I'm talking from a Cowboys perspective. We make too many mistakes. We're not disciplined. We put the wrong people on the field, and then when we do make an adjustment, and then in the second half, we're like a different team. We in the second half, we come out, we make an adjustment on the offensive line, and we march up and down the field. Our defense, our back end of our defense has to get better. And they have to go out and buy them a safety. It's time. It's time. It's time. All them touchdown passes, who would be the safeties? The safeties.
Okay. I did a live last week after the Falcons game, and I asked my fellow Dallas Cowboy fans to look into my eyes. So I'm gonna do it again. Look into my eyes. You see them? You see my eyes? I love the Dallas Cowboys. I love them. They're mediocre. They've been mediocre. They've won 2 playoff games since 1996. They are now 1-12 in games in the last 2 years that are a touchdown or less. When you're 1-12 in close games, that means you're a bad football team. Now, for years, Dwayne Lamont Morris, that would be me. I blame Jason Garrett. I blame coaching. I never wanted to put it on these players. But now it's time to put it on these players, man. But, some positives out the game. We finally made some adjustments on the offensive line, put Zach Martin out at tackle. Zach Martin's the best lineman in the NFL. He's an all-pro guard that went out there and tackled today and shut it down. So we did make that adjustment. Why we didn't make that adjustment during the week, and we got an undrafted rookie free agent from Texas Tech, Terrence Steele, playing right tackle, and I swear to God, if I put my hand in the dirt, I could swim move over him. We continue to play Connor Williams at left guard, and you might as well, after every snap, say, beep, 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 because he backing his ass up
Right.
at every snap. Stupid penalties. I love J.D. Lewis. J.D. Lewis played like cheeks today, and I ain't talking about these cheeks either. That's not the cheeks I'm talking about. So I'm tired of it. I'm tired of this team being hyped up in the preseason. I'm tired of this team leading First Take, Undisputed, NFL Network, ESPN, CBS, Fox. Every damn week, they lead with the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. Now, somebody asked me today, aren't you a Dallas Cowboy fan? Yes, I am. but I'm not going to be sitting here and no damn blue and white pom-poms making it seem like the
So
world
let
is
me
all sunny
let
and
me
bright.
let me ask you guys, because I asked you guys during the game.
My eyes.
As Cowboy, we're all three Cowboy fans,
Look into my
and,
eyes.
and we've seen 3 games, and all 3 games have basically played out the same way. Is the team unprepared, or is the coaching staff making great adjustments at halftime?
I just think here's the problem. You have to play a clean game all the way through. You can't keep playing from behind. You can't do it. You can't keep playing from behind. You can't keep making the same mistakes over and over and over and over again. You just can't do it. You're not going to win.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't miss extra points, get extra points blocked. You can't
Year,
and turnovers.
year after year after year. Tony Pollard is the only dumbass in the NFL that tries to run balls from 6 yards back in the end zone. But guess what, Tony? You got to catch the ball before you can run anywhere. So you give him 2 points there. Greg Zuerlein shanks an extra point. You give him a point there. Then we bad on a block. We don't seal the edge. You get an extra point block. You give up a point there. Now, with all that said, DJ Metcalf should have scored. You know,
Right.
he did a Leon Lett boneheaded play. But the Cowboys will rip their fans' hearts out because they'll look so bad. Then they'll look so good, give you a lead, give you that little bit of hope, a little bit. And then they squash it like a grape because they can't win the close game. They
I know
don't have the clutch gene.
one of the things that we discussed during the game when they kicked Zach Martin out to tackle, which is probably Joe Philbin's best coaching move since he's been the offensive line coach in Dallas.
But don't forget, Q, I don't want to cut you off. He put that rookie at center, too.
He put the rookie at center, and it allowed Looney to play what I consider his natural position is guard. It's 2 players that I as the Cowboy fan, I just don't want to see them no more. I'd rather see them on special teams. I do not want to see Connor Williams no more unless it's on the waiver wire. I'm dead serious. As long as the Cowboys is scoring points because their skill positions are so good that it doesn't take much to score points in today's NFL. Connor Williams, if you zero him in on every play, he gets punched right into Zach's lap every single play. And I don't know how good Clinton Dix was this year at camp. I don't know what happened. I don't want to see Thompson. Thompson seems like a good kid, but for some reason, as Dwayne has always said, the Cowboys refuse to put resources at safety. And it's showing. Xavier Woods is a good kid, but he does not understand playing safety in the second part of the safety. He's a box safety. He can hit. He'll make a tackle. But far as being able to take good angles and stuff like that, the Cowboys need to sign Earl Thomas yesterday. I know people saying he got baggage. I don't care about all that. You need to solidify the secondary.
I'd rather have Eric Reed.
And one thing I just want to say, Dwayne, and you're right, Eric Reed is not a bad signing right now. One thing I want to say, and I'm going to say this until I see otherwise with my eyes. When the best player on the Cowboys defense is a guy that has not played in 5 years, and I know Oldest Smith, talent-wise, probably could have been a Hall of Famer, but he's the best player on the Cowboys defense.
Two things I have to say about the Cowboys, and that'll be my last thought, and we'll preview this game that's on right now. One, Jerry and Stephen Jones think they're smarter than everybody else, and they may be when it comes to business decisions. But Jerry Jones, ever since he ran Jimmy Johnson out of town, has proven that he is not a good general manager in this league. Two, the other problem with the Cowboys is the culture. And I thought Mike McCarthy would change the culture. But when I see this quote right here from Dak Prescott, who played a valiant game today, and he had a career high 472 yards. He had three turnovers, though, a fumble and 2 interceptions. But when I hear this quote after this game, it tells me everything I need to know about, as the Dallas Cowboys about a culture. Dak Prescott, and I quote, "I'm never going to shy away from the moment of having the ball in my hands, having a chance to win the game. I want to make those throws. We'll have some tough practices, pay attention to the details. We'll change the things around. We got a long way to go." There's always that damn excuse. We got to go back to practice. We got to pay attention to details. We got a long way to go. And those excuses got you 1-12 in the last 2 years in games that are decided by a touchdown or less. I don't want to hear that anymore. I don't want to hear it's a process. It's a process. We played well enough to get ourselves in the game. I'm tired of that. In my Herm Edwards voice, you play to win the games. And you don't do that with 5 pass interference penalties, offsides left and right, fumbles, and you don't do it with Zeke Elliott only getting 34 yards. And he's the best player on the team. And that's all I have to say about that.
Saints, Packers. Did that game start already?
Yep.
This game is 7-3 New Orleans. We know New Orleans needs this a little bit more than Green Bay. And New Orleans is home. So I think the Saints pull out a close one in this one. But I will say this is the best Sunday night, Monday night football combo of the season when you get Saints, Packers, followed by Ravens, Chiefs tomorrow.
Yeah.
And to the NFC East, all 4 teams stink to high heavens. Whoever wins the NFC East, and you may get 2 teams in the playoffs out of the NFC East because there's an extra playoff team this year. Maybe, I don't know, depending on how the Eagles recover, depending on how the Cowboys recover. Cowboys got a tough game next week. But the Eagles, if you look at the rest of the Eagles' schedule, the Eagles could realistically start this season 0-4-1. They got
somebody in the chat just said it best, Dwayne. Somebody said the NFC East. LOL. NFC least. No. It's the NFC least. You said it right. Ain't no LOL. It ain't no LOL. Them guys, I don't even think you could put them 4 teams together and come up with an adequate team.
Can't.
With the hideous coaching, who would be the best coach out of them right now? Ron Rivera? Who's the best coach in the NFC?
I think somebody texted me, and I think they said right now the NFC East is 2-9-1. I think they said something like
2-9-1.
2-9-1.
Wow. But Dwayne, I think I said it last week, man, about the Saints that was going to get got by the Raiders. I think Baltimore's going to get the Chiefs finally. I think they're going to get them.
Well,
the last two games they played was real close. I think Baltimore's a little bit more hungry right now, I think.
Here's the thing about Baltimore, right? They can have the greatest regular season in the world, and they'll probably be at worst 13-3 this year. But it don't mean a damn thing until they perform in the postseason. They had a great regular season last year, and they gave us a dud in the postseason.
Well, we could wrap the show up, man. How do you feel about our guest today, Dwayne?
It's good to see Brother Walker finally step up to the plate.
Yeah. Man, we gotta be quiet.
Stop trying to be a shy guy, which we know.
I know, I'm not shy.
Craig Walker, look into my eyes.
Somebody in the chat, Dwayne, somebody in the chat asked the question. Let's say Craig is going to answer this question.
Okay.
Right.
They said it's about. I refuse to answer it. And Dwayne, you can't answer this question.
Okay.
Craig, you got to answer it. It's about which team in the NFC East is going to get hot. Who do you think that team is after week 3?
They all bad. I don't know. I mean, the best offense is the Cowboys. If they can stop making mistakes, they can win this division. But they play. how can you trust anybody when you always down 14 points going in the second half? Like, you got to play a complete game. Like, the Eagles don't. I don't know. I don't know. I can't even say who. I can't.
Me and Dwayne are not going to answer that question.
No, I'll answer it.
No, Dwayne. You're not answering that question. Dwayne, the algorithm, Dwayne. The algorithm.
Algorithm, okay. All around the world, same song. It's just the same old damn song, man. We get these Cowboy fans, and I'm one of them. We buy in, and year after year after year, we got to listen to douchebags like Stephen A. Smith, who you couldn't find them last week after we beat Atlanta, and now this week he on Twitter smoking a cigar. So you know what, Stephen A. Smith? F you. That's what I say to you. Running high. You understand what I'm saying? Because we're here every week as Cowboy fans, and we live and die with this team. They're not very good right now.
Well, we appreciate whoever in Facebook is asking these questions, because we were about to close the show. But if you continue asking questions, we'll
answer them. Anybody that got questions, I love it.
Dwayne,
we're talking about this night game.
I'll present this question to you, Dwayne.
Okay.
What do you all? Okay, we're all going to answer it. What do you all think the Giants' problem is? They are missing Eli, Coughlin, etc.
The Giants' problem starts with David Gettleman.
Thank you.
Okay, and it's not completely David Gettleman's fault. And I don't know what that music is in the background. I don't know if y'all can hear me because I hear music. I hear a commercial or something. David Gettleman tried to rebuild the line. Nate Solder took a lot of money from the Giants. He might as well put one of these masks that we wearing for quarantine because he robbed the Giants. He stood them up. Will Hernandez is a run-blocking guard. He can't play well in pass protection. Cam Fleming couldn't start for the Dallas Cowboys last year, and you're starting him at right tackle. Okay? So it all starts with the offensive line for the Giants. And also, as I said earlier, I've been watching football a long time. I've lived in New Jersey my whole life. The Giants are built on defense and having stud defenders. Jason Tuck, Osi Umenera, Strahan. Who else? I'm missing somebody. Did I say Tuck? I'm just saying. They're built on defense. And now, who is their defense? Jabril Peppers may be their best defensive player. But who else is there?
One of the reasons why I think the Giants, and you know, we talked about it in the beginning of the show, the Giants just don't have talent. I mean, I know a lot of people will be like, you know, we see something there. Honestly, it's nothing there, folks. You get the kid out of Clemson 2 years ago. He was a first and second down defensive tackle. He was never a three down defensive tackle. You get rid of Snacks Harrison and these guys. The Giants do not have talent. You got an offensive line. The Eric Flowers draft has haunted them. Like Dwayne said, the Soldiers thing is the guy stole money. You don't make this guy the highest paid offensive tackle coming from New England, and the guy clearly doesn't want to play. And, you know, he had his right not to play during COVID, and I respect everybody's right not to play during COVID. But Nate Soldiers doesn't want to play football, y'all. Mm-hmm. Then you go draft Hernandez. If you've seen him in UTEP, like Dwayne said, he had great punch when he coming off the ball when they ran, but he always struggled in pass pro. Always. The Giants, they go get Saquon. As good as Saquon Barkley is not a good pass pro running back. He cannot pick up a blitz. He's a great running back on first and second down, but you have to take him out. Couple that with a bad line, with a running back, and then a quarterback who doesn't understand ball protection, and you got the recipe for a real bad team on offense. And then you got Shepard, who's injury prone. So, with all due respect to any Giant fan, and Maul, I know it's you, bro, the Giants, honestly, I have not seen the Giants this bad since the early 80s, right before Bill took over when we was kids, because they only had Harry Carsons and LT back then, and then once Phil Simms settled in at quarterback, stopped being hurt, they was able to build their team.
Listen, I'm not gonna let you disrespect number 12, Scott Bruner, and number 26, Rob Carpenter. They were decent Giants, man.
See, and
They
me
were
and Dwayne,
decent Giants.
me and Dwayne and Craig, we go back to when those Giant teams was bad. When they had Butch Woolfolk out there, and we understand that a lot of people don't get this when we talk about the Giants. Just remember one thing. Remember one thing. Pete Rozelle made the Mara family hire George Young. They was made to hire a personnel guy because the Giants was losing money for the NFL because of the market. This is before they had revenue sharing. So we got to understand that if you look at their talent, and I'm not trying to be funny, I'm not trying to kick them while they down.
No,
they just don't. The Giants just don't have the talent from a talent perspective anymore. You know, Ingram is a pass catcher tight end, but he's overhyped. You get Shepard and Tate, and both of them are slot guys. Like, it just doesn't make much sense. So, you know, the Giants need somebody to get in there, and I don't know if it's going to be Gettleman. I don't know if he'll get another shot.
But I mean, the only thing, right? Again, when you go to a continuity thing, and I'm gonna say it again, you're paying 3 head coaches right now. This year, you're paying 3 head coaches. So if you fire Gettleman and you bring another GM in, right? Shouldn't that GM get a chance to hire his own coach? So are you gonna fire Judge Joe Judge? You're not gonna. You got. I could have told the Giants don't mess around with Jason Garrett, that offensive coordinator. You ain't seen me on Facebook for the last 12 years bemoaning the Cowboys offense. So the NFC East stinks out loud. So the Washington football team could win it, the Giants could win it, the Eagles could win it, or the Cowboys could win it.
I'm gonna tell you that the Washington football team could win they could run away with division if one thing happened right now. What? And I hate to say it, if Alex Smith come in the game. Because you know why? Alex Smith is not going to turn the ball over, y'all.
No.
He's not going to make dumb mistakes. He's going to check down Alex, is going to manage the game. They're going to run. They're going to throw occasional play action pass to Terry. And they're not going to hurt themselves. So we got to understand that certain teams and certain players, they got the talent. But they, you know, the Redskins got more talent than the Giants. The Giants just do not have no talent right now, fellas. And like the Eagles and the Cowboys can't get out their own way. If you watch their games, it's like they're competing on who's going to be the worst team for that particular day.
I'm wishing on a star tonight. I'm wishing on the star tonight that somehow, some way, when I wake up Tuesday morning, I'm a read the Dallas Cowboys have signed Earl Thomas to settle the back end of this damn.
You gotta settle them down, man. You gotta let these guys not worry about getting beat over the top. I mean, I don't know if you guys watched the Cowboy game. But let me tell y'all something. Lockett was open by 7 yards.
He beats us every time we play them. What did I tell you this morning?
The Cowboys, regardless of the coach, have had this philosophy where they want these multi-talented safeties. That's not cutting it. Play according to your roster. These guys cannot play free safety. Go get Earl to play free safety.
Let me tell you something. I want that red bone from P Valley, but she ain't walking through the door right now. Okay?
Oh, my God.
I want that red bone from P Valley, but she ain't walking through the door right now. Okay? The Cowboys and us fans keep wishing on a star.
Hold time out. You ain't getting nobody because your management think they supreme.
I'm gonna ask you guys a question because we done got back on that daggone NFC lease. Tuesday morning, all three of us at work, God willing.
God willing.
We have our phone call at 11 o'clock. The Cowboys made an adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
Which one would it be? Connor Williams on the bench or Earl Thomas in the building?
Neither.
Folks, I'm glad you guys could join us for the night. we appreciate everybody tuning in. We apologize we were a little late because all three of us was watching the Cowboy game, and we appreciate everybody. Remember to hit the like button. Remember to hit the share.
Like and share.
And subscribe if you're on YouTube. You know, we really having we're really trying to do things, and like I said, like, share, and subscribe, man. And you know, if you want to talk football, as you see, we're Cowboy fans, but we're not afraid to talk about other teams. We keep it real.
Let me tell y'all something. Okay, I'm not gonna have you look in my eyes again. I'm gonna tell you something. I love football. I watch all football. I love the Dallas Cowboys, but I love football more. So I'm not gonna sit here with damn Dallas Cowboy pom-poms and tell you that the world is all rosy and nice with the Cowboys.
Because it's not.
I'm going to tell you when they stink out loud. Okay? I'm going to give them credit when they deserve credit, and I'm going to knock them when they can. And you don't see me hide. You may want to unfollow me on Facebook and Instagram and all that because I'm going to still talk Dallas Cowboys, whether they're winning or losing. I'm going to talk the NFL because I love the NFL. And what y'all don't understand is, okay, unlike these other sports, the NFL season go quick. So here's what you'll always get from me. I'm going to talk the game no matter what's going on. I'm not going to be running and hiding like some folks do on these social media platforms. And then when the game is over, yeah, I told you, I knew he was going to do it. No, I'm not doing that. Okay? Stop being fair weather fans. Now, if you want to hate on us, hate on us. If you want to crown us, crown us.
One of the things I know you wanted to address, Dwayne, outside of football was the situation with Joe Montana.
I would like to say this, man. There's a reason Joe Montana is the greatest quarterback to ever play in the NFL. There's a reason Joe Montana is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He had some damn pedophile come into that house and try to kidnap his grandchild. And him and his wife said, not today. Not today. You will not take our grandchild. And they wrestled that kid back and roughed that damn whoever tried to kidnap that kid up. So Joe Montana, I salute you for being Joe Cool, and you killed me with the catch. When I was 8 years old, I cried all night, damn it. But Joe Cool, you're the man. Salute.
Folks, appreciate you guys for joining the show. And with that, have a blessed week.
Pray for me.